punish that. JDG, though, have not been a team who've been making all too many of those. JDG are a team who finds an advantage in the early game, and they are probably the best team at snowballing an advantage. Maybe, maybe not the best team. You could argue LG, you can argue EDG, like there's there. But when it comes to just being able to snowball and win a game as fast as possible, JDG are kings at that.
Yeah, I think it does kind of come up that you're looking at JDG and you're looking at just the pure star power of this roster. I would argue probably top 2, if not top 3, in every single role available to you. And that's kind of what it takes. We have this kind of prevailing narrative throughout the LPL for the last few years. Like, it's not just good enough to have a great top laner or a great AD carry. You have to have greats in every single position if you want to go toe-to-toe with the best. And now, JDG happy to kind of say, look, Ruler, we think you're one of the best AD carries to ever play the game, if not the best. So we're going to give you the Ophelio, something that you can just scale into that late game monster and become the carry.
Yeah, and we see LGD hovering jungle here, and I like it if they do go for a more aggressive option, because you said top 2 in every role. I feel like that's where Kanavi should be, but Kanavi, if there has been one player who I feel like has been having more often than not off games, it's definitely been him. Definitely a potential punish to. So Meteor is going to lock that one in. A bit more aggression coming out in that AD carry role. And now to see in the jungle role, now to see where they go with AD carry. For LGD, I mean, Jinx is something we've actually been seeing make its way back. But I'm kind of surprised that just completely ignoring the prio on Zeri doesn't go through.
Does eventually kind of realize his error in his ways and says, you know what, Lyric's absolutely right. I think I should be getting this one locked in for myself for LPC. Does mean that we are going to have a little bit of a pretty standard bot lane. It's not really going to go anywhere, to be perfectly honest. You're going to see maybe an engaged support. If we get a Nautilus here for JDG, I would think differently about it. Of course, missing has looked pretty damn good, in my opinion, comparatively here. And it's interesting as well because the missing Ruler kind of combination is a difficult one to kind of quantify, because we think they've been actually looking better and better with each series. But in the most recent interview Missing did on the English broadcast, he was saying that, we're probably at like 60%, maybe a 6, maybe sometimes a 7 out of 10. We're not quite there at our first thing. And I'm thinking, like, this is a bot lane that I would fear. And if they're only at a 6 or 7 out of 10, how far can they go?
Yeah, it's actually crazy that it does feel like they're promising more consistency than anything else, because we've seen the height of the level. And I feel like Missing's actually been the more consistent of the pairs, surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
Though, no shade to Ruler, he's moving to a new country, adapting to a new language, new culture, and it's like there's a lot of stuff there where when you do have off games, I mean, the most obvious one's going to be the one against Weibo earlier on the split, but there've been a couple where, he wasn't, the standout carry shown he could be, and has had games like that the split. It's like, yeah, there are definitely some reasons. I can see Missing thinking they're ramping up, and they will be scary once they get to that level. But LGD taking a page out of the book from NIP, the Tristana, and the Elise. It seems like LGD are aware that if JDG get a lead, JDG are just terrifying. JDG know how to run you down, so they are going to try to prevent that from happening and try and put themselves in a forward position in the early game.
And I like that LGD are kind of saying as well, look, yes, that Annie can go mid, but the Tristana does exceptionally well into it, and we'll be able to kind of control the laning phase. They're saying, look, we're not going to allow Knight to have any of these proactive picks against something like the Tristana. Get rid of the LeBlanc, maybe even get rid of the Ahri if they're feeling that kind of, threat. I saw the Syndra even better, kind of, again, pointing, kind of instant CC, point and click ultimate to stat check you is definitely not something you want to be having as the LGD mid laner HangzhouLGD. So JDG focusing a bit more towards that top lane, but it will be LGD who get the first priority pick. So still waiting to see what the supports are going to be for either of these teams. And right now, it does JDG are let that one go and see what they can maybe give 369 in that top side.
Yeah, we need to remember that for JDG, they can throw that Annie down to support role. I feel like you more than often than not see it in support, especially once you have an Aphelios online, which takes support for the opposite side, so they will go for the Nautilus. So now for JDG, we're going to find out where they want to go with the Annie again. I would potentially expect it to go down towards that bot lane, which maybe opens the night up for, I don't know, a lot of the aggressive options already taken off the table.
Could go Kali.
Yeah, I mean, you still have things like Ahri that are online as well. Kennen in the top lane, I think, would be pretty cool. We've really seen the power of this pick. It's one that many people have said didn't really feel like it needed the buffs that it ended up getting. and now just a pick that has been incredibly strong anytime we do get to see it come on the Rift. So really strong team fight coming online for JDG, and now signaling that, hey, maybe it will just be Annie going to mid lane. Both Knight and Missing have only played it once, so neither one really showing too much favor for the pick so far. Ari was something that I highlighted that I would like to see, but look like we're going to get it.
No, most likely can technically still be a flex with the Gragas into support. Have not seen it at all this split, as the Rod of Ages changes. Does make it a bit more of a mid lane or top lane kind of pick up for most teams. And now with the Gragas lock, they've got good disengagement. We saw how that went really in that last game. Honestly, it was NIP taking the Tristana into the Gragas against RNG, and I don't think that, you know, Angel really found many opportunities. There's ways of buffering the CC of the explosive cast. You're not really able to have the range advantage. You know, once you pass level 5 or 6, you know, Tristana just outranges you and your belly bop. So without your flash, you're not really going to be making any kind of engages happen. But the Scion gets locked and loaded here. And LGD, they've got good early skirmishing, but they are looking exceptionally good for a bit of a, you know, mid to late game team fight. Great front line, good DPS coming in from the back end. If they can get one or two kind of, you know, fights going for them, one or two kills early on, and those, you know, get those resets going for the Tristana, they are in a very scary position to try and contest JDG.
It's one of those things where, once again, a team has built a comp that not only has like a solid pathway to play aggressive in the early game with the Elise Tristana, but also, like you said, good front line, good damage coming out later on. For JDG, you're wanting to see a lot done, I think, especially in some mid-game skirmishes, right? Like, once level 6s come online, you have Cyclone plus the Slicing Maelstrom. Hell, even like if you rotate bot lane up to something like Herald the Moonlight Vigil on top of that, you have a lot of ways to a lot of damage to pretty much the whole squad of LGD, taking advantage of those earlier power spikes, and then just looking for the brawl, looking for the scrap, and hopefully finding some early advantages in these side lanes.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. Let's see if they're able to do it, because I think if there's anything that JDG can do, is a solid early game, to say the least. So we'll see what LGD can do to mitigate that. The Scion should be in a fairly decent spot up in that top lane. It will take a fair beating and will probably CS, but should not die, as we see some big mistakes or jungler intervention, I should say. But big moment for JDG. If they take this win, they will have sole possession of first place. They'll be equal on series with Edward Gaming, but they would be at minimum games ahead of them in the game difference, even if this is a 2-1. So a big moment for them to try and secure themselves maybe a potentially easier matchup going into that first double elimination game later on in playoffs. But this is a team that we had high expectations for coming into the split. We talked about how this was the super team alongside Top Esports. Top Esports have definitely faltered, but JDG kind of living up to those expectations, keeping their top 2, top 1 spot kind of alive and well.
Yeah, I also feel like JDG were the only like true super team, in the sense of like, you had players that were all in contention for like best in their role, to where, right, you look at TS and you have like mid jungle, AD carry, you know, like highly accredited players. BLG, another team that does a bunch of top to lower tier teams. Weibo is kind of the more like historical squad of the bunch of like past players. Yeah, so it's kind of like a bunch of different variants or like different eras of what could be considered these teams, but JDG definitely being the one of like, hey, we had players who last year everyone were looking at as some of the best in their roles, and now hovering up towards top lane with 369. We said advantages in some of these side lane matchups, both top and bot. 369 having the cannon into a melee matchup is definitely going to be one of the areas where you want to focus.
You know, it's Jin Zhao kind of abusing the level 1, because let's be real, Felios isn't a champion until level 2. He just kind of has to swap between his guns, and that's pretty much it. So, I mean, that extra priority in the bot lane gonna mean a bit of decent trade patterns available for the LGD bot side, should they decide to opt in and take them. This is kind of what we see from the Tristana. You just have pretty decent lane priority at all times. The Gragas is there just to mitigate it. You want to try and pick up your tier as early as possible, because when you have that mana, you are pretty much at a point where you're never going to lose enough HP. You'll be losing out of a burst. But now Kanavi might be caught out here if they go into this mid lane. Kanavi immediately gets jumped on. They don't want to try and get away from this. They want to try and secure the kill, and Kanavi got read like a book, didn't think there was any vision, and that is just fantastically played from LGD.
Yeah, if there's a winner of the play, it is that ward being placed for LGD, allowing the play to be able to come through. Great vision from LGD. Great, like, understanding of how they want to make that play, right? I mean, because you have to communicate, like who are you going on, how and when are you going on, then they very clearly say, hey, we wait for the Wukong to come out, Cocoon, Rocket Jump, and they all in on the plan. And then even with him flashing away, not able to buy enough distance, well, you know, without the members of LGD able to follow up, for the fact we have things like Repel and hell, even HangzhouLGD just flashing forward himself. Knight did say in the pregame interview, right, that HangzhouLGD has been one of the players who he felt like have been improving. Especially as LGD have been figuring out their roster over these past few splits, and you know, maybe getting to see a semblance of it here. So good that Knight's coming in with the respect that needs to be had, and now we're gonna have to actually see it pay off, because HangzhouLGD's on a carry and Knight is definitely on something that is not.
Yeah, Knight's on a bit more of a facilitator. We saw in the last game that the Tristana can definitely have a bit more of an impact once they get to the 2, 3, 4 item points. We'll see what JDG can do in response. I will say for LGD, again, they're out of playoffs. Not much they can really do about that. But I gotta give credit where credit's due. It does feel like they finally are kind of creating around their carries, and their carries being, as you mentioned, HangzhouLGD kind of showing up, but also xiaoshu. I think xiaoshu has looked exceptional comparatively to, you know, where he started, and really kind of showing some really solid progress against some of these bigger 80, you know, kind of bigger top lane threats. And I'm very impressed with how he's been able to kind of move forward as a team. But, ooh, Ruler just about dodges out there from that hook. Jinzhou takes a half his health bar as a bit of a trade back. And we're going to see another one come out. But the Ignite from Missing secures the kill. They wanted to really hard force that on the bot side of LGD. And Ruler and Missing just hold their ground.
And this is what you need as JDG's bot lane. Able to find these kills when we said, hey, you know, you might have to worry about mid-jungle for LGD. So we need to see bot and top getting ahead. Great job making sure that in the 2v3 scenario, they're still able to play well. They're still able to find kills. Because even though we said, hey, you know, there have been some off games coming out from JDG's bot lane in terms of like playing out in the 2v2, and I guess even here in the 2v3, they've been superb. Jinzhou not able to connect the hook and doing a great job playing off the back of it. Great flash by Ruler to make sure that nothing comes through, and then the damage being layered on by Missing to make sure they finish that one off.
Nice, cool, calm, and collected moment there for the JDG bot lane. Very unfortunate for Jinzhou. He just kind of missed everything, really. He flashed in, got the auto attack down to get the glacial augment, but after that, everything else kind of went to the wayside. Definitely not the ideal situation, and it does mean that Ruler is pretty safe in this bot side for the moment to keep pushing in, and knowing he is Kanavi to his left shoulder means that he is very safe, all things considered. And no level 6 though for the Wukong makes this very much missing getting his stun off, but the refresh on the
also it being a point and click, you know, it's if he isn't able to get it off, I feel like that is a pretty big problem. Whether you can get it off in a meaningful position, you know, that's a conversation. Yeah. But if Missing can't hit the stun, yeah, there's an issue here, Sheen.
Ruler, oh, nice sidestep there. Meteor thought he had the flash cocoon, but not going to work for it. HangzhouLGD, nice buffer on the belly bop. LGD still looking to contest it. This is risky here from JDG. He'll take a hell of a lot of poke from this dragon. 2000 HP on that particular objective. Flash in, gotta see the flash cleanse from LPC to make sure he doesn't die. Dragon resets, and Missing already taken very, very low. Jinzhou looks like he might be in trouble. One more auto attack would have taken him out, but they can't go up the ramp. HangzhouLGD playing bouncer, and they're back onto the dragon. Meteor still here. There is a smite, but he's not gonna be able to get the flash or the smite down. On top of that, Meteor does end up getting himself away. Got a little bit of heal because he wasn't part of that kill onto the dragon, but it doesn't matter. 2 kills over, and this bot lane is up and running for JDG.
Jinzhou trying to save his jungler, ends up regretting it as he goes down. Meteor does too. JDG 2 kills, they get a dragon on top of it, and these are the phenomenal early games you love to see. I just like how JDG also like knew they didn't have to give it up. Their health bars were low. Like, if you just look at HP bars after the initial scrap we're going to see here is Knight tries to find the opportunity, but great plans deny it. Huge damage. I think he's doing attacked up by Dragon a little bit here, but look at these HP bars. Konami missing both incredibly low. I believe Grog is half HP, so it looks dire, but realizing they can deny HangzhouLGD from joining this play with the Aphelios. HangzhouLGD trying to buy space for Meteor and maybe get some damage off from LPC, but again, you just end up giving 2 kills over to JD Gaming, and now with Cyclone online for Konami, there's only more potential havoc waiting to be Havoc machine. I don't know what you do with Havoc.
Waiting to be Havoc. What is the definition of Havoc? Let me look that up. Because it's something that we say, but it's something that I'm not saying. The
terror.
It's widespread destruction is Havoc. That is the 2 words. Widespread destruction. It's maybe more widespread destruction.
That's what we want in this game.
I mean,
look,
yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're out there in whatever form of chat or wherever you're watching this, you need to wish for the widespread havoc. That's what we need. And typically that's what you get when JDG plays. JDG, I mean, things like their champion kills per minute, like their kills to 15, all that stuff ranks highest in the league by a mile.
Yeah,
they are a team who
also one of the quickest games as well.
Yeah, they again, whatever faults they have in terms of sometimes transitioning, or again, like people like Konami have been a bit down. We've seen some bad games from like Ruler, Knight, 369, whoever. If they find leads, they have been very good at just brute forcing these into wins and never letting their foot off the gas pedal.
No, flash in, does catch out the Gragas with a hook, but it's taking a while for him to go down, and right here you can see that he's just not quite falling. Finally, Meteor will take him out. They take a couple of ultimates and an ignite, but they do get the fat man. So he goes off to Valhalla.
I think we deserve some credit in that one. We're praising JDG, so LGD can find an opportunity.
Well, Meteor trying to be aggressive here, but Ruler's coming over here and has the ghost. That means Meteor's going to get taken out, you would imagine, very quickly after that. Ruler, with a flash available, maybe wants to try and secure this kill. HangzhouLGD doesn't have a flash, but does he need to be able to do it? No, he does not. Ruler gets himself 2 more kills. That's a 4-0-1 Aphelios, and this is starting to ramp up. I'm getting vibes of JDG versus FBX, our quickest game of the split right now, Lyric.
LGD, I mean, they're just like overheating. They're just over-aggressing. What are they going for? This was great. Instead of display towards mid, you have numbers advantage. You assume they're going for Herald because they have agency on top side. You know exactly where their jungler is. But then here, wanting to follow through and try to catch out missing. And I think the initial is good, but after you miss on the hook, which no combo whatsoever, right? I guess throwing both CCs in different places to try to guarantee one, but I think just try to commit to the CC chain, because once you don't land the hook, you see that little bit of damage coming out from the Elise, it feels like you're backing off because you're giving JDG the opportunity to go for this. And again, missing, able to set up for an easy AoE stun once they walk in, just... Yeah, pure LGD right there. Pure old LGD. New LGD, we love that.
We love some new LGD, but definitely some old LGD to that one there, as they kind of get more and more gold being funneled very quickly here onto the house. Even using the Rift Herald there, and they're saying, Ruler, you know what? You're all right. You got a pretty good eye for getting yourself some advantages, and you're pretty good when you get a lead. So we're going to keep throwing that into you. 175 gold back into him. He's going to have 2 more minions before he finishes off his cull. This is getting harder and harder for LGD. Look at the gold lead already. It's 3,500, and that's just basically in bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, 40 CS is top side.
Yeah, actually, I just looked at it there. Yeah, it's 2,000 in bot lane and about 2,000 in top.
And you were highlighting, right? If you are someone who has watched LPL and you only watch top teams, fair, but LGD Xiaoshu has been an absolute gangster this split. I can't remember what the numbers are. I was looking at like the solo kills the other day, and like he's up there. He's like in the top 5 for solo kills. You know, his laning's been solid. His champion pool's been impressive. Like, you know, he plays everything meta, has a few of the niche picks that he's able to bring out. Like, I've really been impressed with Xiaoshu so far, and he looks like one of those players that's going to get picked up by a better team one day, unless LGD can build around him winning. But 369 with the Kennen pick, making this look easy. Again, it is a favorable matchup, but still.
Oh, for sure.
He's able to like drive his advantage home so well. Is what you'd expect from 369.
Observer thought there was a little bit more to that play, as TP does come back in. 4-3-6-9. Second dragon of the game going to be secured here by JDG, so they're well on their way to a fairly early soul. Ruler going to have a bit of honey fruit. Always eat your vegetables, kids. Keeps you nice and big and healthy. And we already see the Gale Force with a pickaxe finished up here for Ruler, so not quite at the item threshold where the FLLs will be one-shotting people, but definitely has some more kill pressure onto LPC, and that's the big thing we're going to be looking at here, is that if LPC gets caught out without a cleanse, that's where this game gets a little bit scary for GTD.
Also seeing the Rift Maker on 369 instead of the usual rocket belt,
Yeah.
which you know, not an item I usually love on him. You know, can give you more potential for like more damage, especially right in like in sustained fights. So things like whittling down your opponent in side lanes and like going at it in that 1v1 and getting that damage down, you can see it used. Or typically I can even understand it in team fights if you're against like a full tank / bruiser as composition, but would be great to see 369 get on the back line. But speaking of get on the back line, no, nothing. We're not getting
nope.
on
No backlines today. Only towers being taken, only front lines. And I will say this is smart from LGD just to completely back away. There is pretty much all first item completions coming out for JDG. They are on a massive power spike in terms of where they are at in the game. But now Meteor looking to try and see if he can get some top side. Nice moves from 369 to make sure he gets the stuns down. But HangzhouLGD is here. Xiaoshu alongside his mid laner will get themselves their first combo kill on that top side. Real successful gank is LGD. Not to be outdone just yet. They are still falling a bit behind, but they're trying to make their own plays. That's a Comet. That's a Comet Scion. Sorry, I just realized that.
Yeah. What did you expect?
Grasp of the Undying, but yeah, let's have a look at this one. It's pretty bog standard. 369 does do well to make sure that he burns as much as their time as possible, but yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah, they get it off. And like you said, they're looking to make plays. I love that HangzhouLGD even comes in at the last second to be like, hello. Gets the kill. Rocket jumps away. And yeah, now for JDG, still 4K gold up. Starting to move their bot lane around the map to get even more pressure. It's going to make their way towards the top side jungle. Maybe even start leaning up to get work done, or just set up for a pick in mid. Come on.
See what they want to go for. It's hard to get on the Ruler here. That's a two-man Tibbers. LPC holds his cleanse because he knows he can skate his way over that wall. Jinzhao is sitting on a couple of 100 HP, but flash forward into the auto attack, easy as you like.
Oh, HangzhouLGD. HangzhouLGD might end up regretting this one. Really? Is he going to end up getting spotted? Doesn't look like it. With 369 backing off to potentially go farm Krugs. Nope. Just going to make his way to the brush. Check some vision. Yeah. I'm curious to see if we end up getting wrapped back around a bot lane, or if 369 doesn't even end up showing.
Might not even show. Might not even show. While this is all happening, though, mid lane was left exposed. And that means Ruler gets himself some more local gold and some more pressure for him to be able to kind of continue his parade towards an Infinity Edge. 2 items being finished up this early for an Aphelios is just monstrous. Another minute and a half to the next dragon spawns. Cloud Soul available, as we can see. There's the Gravitum going to force the cleanse out. That's why LPC can't lose that too willy-nilly, because with the Gale Force up and available for Ruler, he can just make it so easy to punish off those slight overextensions.
So you said someone's becoming a monster. Kind of, you know, put me into a train of thought, because let's be real, the game so far decently one-sided. Over? No, not necessarily, but decently one-sided. How many Monsters Inc. movies are there? Just 3, right?
Monsters Inc. There's only 2.
I thought Monsters Inc. had an actual sequel, and I know there's the university one.
The Monsters University, yeah. I think there's only 2. Monsters Inc.
Is there no actual sequel?
No, there is no actual sequel. Monsters University being the sequel prequel.
Yeah.
For HangzhouLGD, as he flashes away after getting his explosive buster shot off. But yeah, there is only the prequel sequel, which came out. That
makes more sense.
That came out in 2013? That is a 10-year-old movie? What?
Yeah, it's been out. It's been out forever. That's good, because I thought that maybe I was forgetting one, and that there was a sequel and I couldn't remember, and it was really bothering me, is missing? Just the fear of missing in Meteor's heart forces the flash. But yeah, okay, thanks. Thanks for getting me back on the straight and narrow.
No problem, man. Do you know when Monsters Inc. came out? The first one?
Let's say 2001.
Oh, right on the money, ladies and gentlemen. 2001. That is a 22-year-old.
Man, I
saw that in cinema.
I wanted to be an animator for so long just because of Disney. So
really,
yeah, oh yeah, I'm big Disney, Pixar, huge fan.
What moves you away from animation and more into like music?
Standardized learning.
You know
That's
what?
it.
I answered you. I asked the question and you answered it. That's
I
all
did.
I can really
I'm an honest man. Let's be real.
Yeah, you are bluntly honest no matter what the situation is. This game is kind of slowly just becoming JDG favorite.
No,
6,000.
I got this.
Go on.
Here we go. Fog of War. It's there. Rift Herald slowly going down the fight. It's
dead.
Heating up like my cup of coffee. Actually, no, I'm not brewing.
I thought you were going
right
to go
now.
very different with that. I thought you were going a very different direction.
I'm
oh my
not
God.
hysterics, and this is not the bet.
Hey, if you want to know the best piece of content ever created to all you fantastic viewers, go look up Hysterics YouTube channel and go watch it. It is incredible. It's totally safe for work. There's nothing weird. There's
a lot of weird.
There's a lot of weird about it, but it's an incredible piece of content. Go watch it. It's awesome. This is not the best. I love how no matter what happens, no matter what content gets created around the LPL, be it big or small, nothing
will ever beat it.
Nothing will ever beat it. Nothing. It's just insane.
Just like how it looks like. It looks like slowly this game goes on and on. There's even less hope for LGD to win this one. Can LPC meditate, find Zen, and channel his inner Zeri pick and get a pentakill? He's not even 2 items strong yet.
I was gonna say it's gonna be hard.
But they just need to buy time. Get some defensive wards down, not dying. So give up a lot of waves, give a lot of gold over to JDG, maybe lose out on a Baron, and hope JDG don't end the game.
I mean,
sound like a good plan?
It's a plan.
Hey?
I don't know if it's a good plan. You know, I suppose it's that way of saying it as well. I don't judge I don't judge a plan based on its result. So, you know, if you had the information in front of you, all information, then you would make the perfect decision. But with the information you have, you kind of need to make as best of an idea, or best of a decision as you can.
Oh, that's actually a really good point, because look at the mini-map and look at how few, like, wards, look at how deep the lanes are pushed for the side of LGD.
Not a lot of information to make a good decision off of.
They have, like, 0. They don't know where anyone is on the map. They know they're significantly down in gold because they can press tab and see items, and they're like, what do we do? And again, right now LGD are trying their best to just buy time and stall this game, not lose too much. Oh my God, is Xiaoshu going to be a Giga Chad?
Nah, it's very hard for him to be. He'll do a fair bit of damage and get some decent healing back off that as well. So we're coming into a point now where, yes, it is a 60 CS leader just underneath it for the Kennen, but the Scion is scaling pretty damn hard, and not really a huge amount of people who can burst him out, except if it's a long extended fight. You would imagine that Ruler will eventually get to his Lord Doms, but 369 is gonna pop it with a slightly Maelstrom. Flash has been used by 369 as he tries to run away from this one here. HangzhouLGD in the vicinity. They're looking to try and slow him down.
He gets away. And
Xiaoshu.
Look at mid.
Yeah, mid is ending the game. 22 minutes. You've got an Rift Herald. They can keep going off of this one here. You don't have the Tristana. 134 HP left on this Rift Herald, but it won't get anything else done. It has done its job, and they have cracked base. You gain a tier 1 in bot side, but for LGD, that is not worth.
No, not at all. And now you can see members even starting to path down towards bot, just in case he overstayed to be able to go for a pick. If not, they can go, clear some of this vision, go back, and make sure that they have their setup necessary for the Dragon. That's going to be up in 50 seconds. And, you know, we don't lie. We don't lie. But LPC has 2 items. And I believe that that's enough for LGD to do it. So I am going to lie.
So you don't believe it's enough to do it, is the actual answer of that. And that was very satisfying to see all the minions die at once. Get 174 gold up straight away rather than the 14 and, you know, 21 and stuff like that. Did you know, I like to say this to everyone, Jamada informed me of this, that minions in mid lane are worth 1 less gold until 14 minutes? Did you know that?
Mid laners out there, they have a rough life.
Scammed, man.
Strapped for
Scammed. Absolutely finessed.
Ashin, we got a Baron flip coming because they know they can't get over Dragon, and they're like, hey, we just have to
There's
start
no
fighting.
TP on
Look,
369. There's no TP here on the cannons. They're going to go for this. This is the Hail Mary. Do you have a receiver down in the end zone? But HangzhouLGD trying to see if he can make sure that they get away with it slow. Now it's a 5v5. You're taking a hell of a lot of poke damage. HangzhouLGD has to bounce himself away. Look, LGD, I appreciate you had to go for something. You saw an opportunity without the teleport on the cannon, but you just don't take it that quickly. It's 3 items on the Zarya is where that really actually becomes a thing.
And now look at the base. I mean, being my minions, you can see 2 members going over to get Drake right now, but JDG even just so far ahead, having that pressure in the base, realizing we can even keep members clearing out the top side, and then maybe even try to instantly pivot, force LGD into them when they have vision control, which again, how do you play into fights when you have no vision down? You don't know what you're walking into, and the potential of the flank from 369 is so ever present as a meteor. I guess making sure they don't have any pocket of vision not played around, trying to just stick around and wait out and see if JDG were going to look for a Baron play.
Still a 6,000 gold lead, still plenty for JDG to kind of wane forward with. Dragon Soul as well. The unseen gold lead that gives you is pretty damn big. Now JDG, they've kind of just had total control, to be perfectly honest. They got a couple of kills on the ruler. That let him get up to 3 items at this 25-minute mark. It makes it so much harder for anyone of LGD to make something work with this. Now, without any vision control whatsoever, LGD are going to have to try and face check into this Baron. It isn't the fastest in the world, but it's definitely not the slowest.
No, and again, I think they'd still even be happy just to find and turn the fight. You can see there, they have the tools.
Here we go.
Don't flip it, don't flip the JDG.
They're going to go in. LGD get it, 369. Not able to finish off HangzhouLGD just yet. They will lose the Elise and the Nautilus. And the Zarya, yes, get yourself the Baron, but you've lost 3 kills out of it. Meteor with the hero play, but I don't think it's going to be worth anything.
Okay, flipping it was completely fine. It was like, you know, flipping your pizza dough around to look cool and make an awesome YouTube video. JDG gonna be able to push this one. Sure, there's a tank and there's a damage dealer there, but I think JDG have the stuff to end it.
HangzhouLGD dies. Xiaoshu will as well. That's his first death of the game, but shall be a 26-minute win here for JDG. They are as comfortable as you like. LGD never really given an opportunity. It came down to a flip, which LGD won. But sometimes you need to flip more than one time to win a game. Odds were stacked against them. JDG able to pick themselves up a comfortable Game 1 victory. Move themselves to 1-0 in this game.
Yeah, I know. They're trying to give us an early day. Here we thought, like, okay.
Done by half 12, 1 o'clock.
It could be long, depending on, like, the series, the venue swaps, and all these shenanigans, but, you know,